In the faded industrial shadows of Grimsby, northeast Lincolnshire, a boy named Ian was born in 1974. The eldest son of teenage parents Kevin, a gasfitter apprentice, and Linda, who worked in a printing works, he grew up in a rented house in nearby Immingham with a younger brother. He was a timid, asthmatic child who orchestrated tantrums to win his mother's attention, and was bullied mercilessly at school, mocked for his large forehead and dubbed Spadehead or the White Cliff of Dover. He changed schools at 13, and left with a handful of GCSEs in 1990. He drifted into low-wage jobs, including a stint at the Heinz factory alongside his mother. Ian's family life was fractured, as his parents' relationship was turbulent. His mother later formed a new partnership that reportedly upset him. By his early 20s, Ian had married briefly, and fathered a daughter with a 15-year-old girl he had groomed and treated badly, beginning a chilling pattern of predation that would span years. Behind the unassuming facade of a quiet young man lay a serial essaying predator. Between 1995 and 2001, while bouncing between bedsits in Grimsby and Immingham, Ian had unlawful adult behavioral contact with at least 11 underage girls, aged 11 to 15. The North East Lincolnshire Serious Case Review, commissioned after his later crimes, and drawing on agency files, laid bare a catalogue of missed warnings. In 1995, a 15-year-old girl named AB for legal reasons, ran away with an older boyfriend, named as Ian. Police and social services investigated unlawful adult behavior with her, but she declined to complain, and no charges followed. That same year and into 1996, cases piled up. CD, a girl aged 15, living openly in his flat. EF, a girl aged 15, reported by school as cohabiting with an adult. GH, a girl aged 13 to 14, alleged an adult behavior relationship. ST, a girl aged 15, linked to a 23-year-old. UV, a girl aged 15, admitted an adult behavior relationship with an older man. MN, a girl aged 11 claiming SA in 1997. Overlaps were glaring, with multiple girls involved simultaneously in spring 1996, yet agencies treated each case in isolation. Social services in Grimsby East and West teams, reeling from staff shortages, high case loads, and post-reorganization chaos, relied on inexperienced or unqualified workers. Records were incomplete, prematurely destroyed, or unsearchable by perpetrator name. Humberside police conducted joint probes, but often deferred to victims' wishes or dropped cases for insufficient evidence. A serious SA allegation in 1998 was undermined by attitudes towards CCTV showing consensual prior contact in a club. Because police and social workers' attitudes dismissed near 16-year-old relationships as normal, no one connected the dots. Ian walked free, his predatory instincts honed. In February 1999, at a nightclub in Grimsby, Ian met 25-year-old Maxine, and the two started dating. Seeking a fresh start, or perhaps fleeing scrutiny, the couple moved to the quiet Cambridgeshire village of Soham in 2001. Maxine became a teaching assistant at St Andrew's Primary School, and after a police background check failed spectacularly, Ian landed the job of caretaker at Soham Village College. Humberside's intelligence systems had not flagged his history, a systemic failure later exposed in the Bitchett inquiry. To colleagues and neighbors, he seemed ordinary and polite, even charming when it suited him. Then came the 4th of August 2002. It was a warm bank holiday evening. Best friends, Holly and Jessica, both 10, bright, loyal, and inseparable, left a family barbecue in their Manchester United shirts to buy sweets. They never returned. Within hours, the village was gripped by fear. Posters went up. Searches began. And Ian inserted himself into the heart of it all. With Maxine away visiting family in Grimsby, Ian became the last known person to see the girls alive. He claimed they had walked past his house, perhaps heading toward the college grounds. But his behavior raised whispers. He gave media interviews and invited a Daily Mail journalist into his house for tea and biscuits. In one fateful encounter with a Press Association reporter, just 4 days after the girls disappeared, the mask slipped. Ian claimed the girls had walked past while he was outside washing his large Alsatian dog, Sadie, with soap and water after a muddy walk. He said they briefly stopped and asked about their teaching assistant, Maxine, then continued on their way. The reporter found this account odd for two main reasons. Ian described the girls passing by, but said they wouldn't have noticed the big, soapy, hairy dog or made any comments about it. No oohs, ahs, how cute, or giggles. To the reporter, this seemed implausible. Two carefree 10-year-old girls on a sunny summer evening would almost certainly have reacted to such a scene. Additionally, when the journalist asked Maxine, the teaching assistant, whether the girls had been taught about stranger danger at school, and how they might react if, for example, a man opened a door and invited them inside. Ian suddenly interjected and answered for them. He said something to the effect that Holly would probably go quietly, while Jessica would put up a real fight and struggle. The reporter found this deeply unsettling. Ian was only the caretaker at a secondary school the girls didn't even attend. He claimed to have barely known them. Why would he speak with such confident, specific knowledge about their personalities and likely reactions, as if he had direct, intimate insight into what happened when they encountered a man? These details suggested Ian knew far more than a casual passerby or brief witness should. The reporter later said the story simply didn't ring true, and Ian's calm, matter-of-fact way of speaking raised alarm bells. Unsettled by the clinical detachment and implausible account, the reporter consulted his brother, a retired detective, and tipped off Cambridgeshire police. Other journalists noted Ian's agitation and his refusal to be photographed, stating, "Even my mother doesn't have a photograph of me," and Maxine's chilling use of the past tense, saying, "They were just lovely girls." In one exchange, Ian leaned on a reporter's car and asked, almost casually, "How long does DNA evidence last?" For 13 agonizing days, the nation watched a massive search. More than 400 officers were assigned full-time to search for the girls. These officers conducted extensive house-to-house inquiries across Soham, and their efforts to search local areas were supported by hundreds of volunteers. United States Air Force personnel, stationed at nearby Mildenhall Air Base, later joined the search. To support public appeals for information, Cambridgeshire police released a photograph of Holly and Jessica, taken less than 2 hours before their disappearance, depicting both girls wearing their Manchester United replica football shirts. Suspecting the children had been taken, investigators questioned every registered child offender in the area. More than 260 registered child offenders across the UK were also questioned, and all were eliminated from the investigation. Police examined the possibility that the girls had arranged to meet someone they had contacted via an internet chat room, but this was soon ruled out. The community held a candlelight vigil on the 7th of August. The following day, CCTV footage of the girls, recorded minutes before their disappearance, was released to the public. This footage depicted them arriving at the local sports center at 6:28 p.m. A televised reconstruction of Holly and Jessica's last known movements was broadcast nationally on the 10th of August. Both sets of parents conducted press interviews, along with other family members and friends of both girls. These appeals produced more than 2,000 phone calls and tips from the public. Then, on the 17th of August, a gamekeeper found the girls' bodies in a remote ditch near Royal Air Force Lakenheath, where the surrounding shrubbery was badly scorched from a fire. Their clothes had also been burned and discarded at the school where Ian worked as a caretaker. Forensic evidence, consisting of fibers, botanicals and tire tracks, linked the scene to Ian's car and home. That same morning, at 4:30 a.m., police arrested Ian and Maxine on suspicion of abduction and unalivings. Ian's lies crumbled under interrogation. Maxine had provided a false alibi, insisting she had been with him the entire evening of the 4th of August, shielding him because she believed, or claimed to believe, his innocence. She later admitted the deception but was cleared of assisting in the unalivings themselves. The trial at the Old Bailey opened in November 2003. For 5 weeks, the evidence painted a horrifying picture. Ian had lured the trusting girls inside and unalived them, the exact method he alone knew, but he claimed accidental airway constriction during a panic. The jury, however, saw through his charade and viewed him as a cold, calculating predator, who committed an horrific crime against children, tried to conceal his crime, and then played the concerned local on national television. Ian took the stand, calm at first, then crumbling under cross-examination as his story shifted. Maxine, in the dock beside him, eventually distanced herself. On the 17th of December, after 17 hours of deliberation, the jury returned 11-1 majority verdicts. Ian was found guilty on 2 counts of unalivings. Maxine was found guilty of conspiring to pervert the course of justice. Sentencing came swiftly. Mr. Justice Alan Moses, addressing Ian directly, delivered a withering rebuke, saying, "You unalived them both. You are the only person who knows how you took their lives. You are the one person who knows why. You destroyed the evidence, which showed no mercy and no regret. In your lies and manipulation up to this very day you have increased the suffering you have caused the 2 families." He called Ian's tears self-pitying and branded his actions persistent cruelty and merciless cynicism. Ian received 2 concurrent life sentences with a minimum term of 40 years. To Maxine, the judge said she had had plenty of opportunity to refuse to persist in a course of lying and deception, and had chosen not to. She was jailed for 3.5 years. The family's pain echoed through the courtroom. Holly's father, Kevin, and Jessica's parents, Leslie and Sharon, spoke of unimaginable loss. They thanked the judge and jury, noting the minimal intrusion from the media amid their grief. No sentence could ever be enough, they said, but justice had been served. The aftermath was seismic. The case exposed catastrophic safeguarding failures. The Bichard inquiry in 2004 slammed Humberside Police and Social Services for systemic and corporate breakdowns, destroyed records, unlinked intelligence, and vetting processes that allowed a known predator into a school. It led to national reforms in criminal records checks, better information sharing, and multi-agency protocols. Huntley was sent to various maximum security prisons, where he faced attacks from fellow inmates and repeated attempts to take his own life. He never expressed genuine remorse, nor did he disclose why or how. On the 26th of February 2026, after being ambushed by another prisoner, he received severe trauma to his head and was airlifted to hospital. Life support was withdrawn on the 6th of March 2026, and he passed away the day after at the age of 52, still serving that 40-year minimum, never to walk free. Maxine was released after serving half her sentence, obtained a new identity and vanished from public view. The Soham unalivings did not just claim 2 innocent lives. They ripped open the failures of a system meant to protect the vulnerable, forcing Britain to confront how a serial malefactor could slip through every net, until 2 little girls in football shirts paid the ultimate price. Their names, Holly and Jessica, remain a haunting reminder of what happens when warnings are ignored. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and if you'd like more true crime, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you'd like to know why Anthony Russell, Damien Fowkes, and Kevin McCarthy were imprisoned, please check out my other videos, and let me know what you think in the comments section.